what's happening, everybody? This is your favorite podcast in the world. We are back. This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
This is Elliot.
And we are so happy to be here. We hope you guys are having a fantastical day today.
Fantastical.
And
what are we talking about?
I want to know, what are your feelings about the cohort of thought rappers of today?
Not the cohort. So here's the real problem that I have, right? So there are a couple that are actually really good.
Which ones?
Libra Jolie comes to mind.
Never heard of that.
I'm sure you haven't.
Is that a group?
No, it's a
type of cereal.
Libra Jolie. Does that sound like a cereal to you?
It sounds like a hot cereal.
No, it's
with,
not. Maybe a hot girl
sugar
cereal.
and cheese.
Anyway, I'm just gonna act like you didn't say that. That's disgusting. No, she comes to mind. Megan Thee Stallion, when she's like doing her freestyle thing, she actually can like really ride a beat. Like,
what's crazy is I wouldn't even put her in the category with thought rappers, but she's definitely
she's 100%. Her Cardi B really like. That's not true. If I'm being honest, the original thought rapper was like Da Brat / Lil Kim.
No, Lil Kim was Lil Kim.
I mean, yes, but
Lil Kim wasn't rapping only about sex, though.
Wasn't she, though? You name me a Lil Kim song that wasn't about sex.
Does money count?
No. No, it does
okay,
not.
well, never mind. Well, yeah. But the thing was, you also got to remember about Lil Kim was, in her time, she was kind of the only one.
That's what I'm saying. She was paving the lane. And then,
it wasn't like
right.
It wasn't like almost like a genre of rap. It was just her. It was like her thing, and she was really good at it.
That was like
and I can imagine there were probably rappers that you and I don't know about back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
That were also probably doing that weren't as big, maybe.
And here's the thing. Like, there are a bunch of other, like, juke joints were already making this style of music where you just say really nasty stuff to a musical accompaniment. Yeah. They just brought it to rap for the women. But back to the original point, like, there are some notable exceptions that are actually really good. Cardi B is actually really good. I can sit down and listen to like 5 or 6 songs on a Cardi B album, and they're not bad.
I like plenty of her music.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she got some stuff on rotation in my playlist. Her, Megan, Libra Jolie, they're actually talented.
It's hard
artists.
for me to put Megan in that category because I consider Megan Thee Stallion probably top 2 female rappers. Like,
but name me
she's
a single
really,
song
really good. But you're right. No,
that she doesn't talk about riding or sucking or you're
right.
Stealing a man. Like, that's so she's in the category. She just
her
does
flow.
Yeah, she know how to ride a beat. PG, bro. PG.
I didn't even say anything.
Yeah,
I'm listening to you. Actually,
face. Get it together.
Okay.
But no. So. But then you got all of these other ones, and Ice Spice. What is it? Is it Sexy Red? Is it
Sexy Red? And then you got Sukiana.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them.
It's a lot of them.
The main ones, honestly, are those,
and they're not good.
And then you've got other female rappers like Coyle Ray, Lotto that I don't think they rap exclusively about sex.
Coyle Ray and Lotto, I would not call thought rappers because they do not. So I give you another example of someone who I wouldn't consider a thought rapper who dips her toes in. Now I want to call her Domo Ishii, but that's definitely not her name.
Doja Cat? Oh,
no, not Doja Cat, but she's more like a
singer. Iggy Azalea too. She didn't rap only about sex, though.
Iggy Azalea can't rap for real. So I would put her right there with the other trash thought rappers, if I'm being honest. Nah.
Like, I know we don't really bang with her like that.
What Iggy Azalea album are you listening to?
Album?
That's my point. I rest my case, Your Honor. Okay. Anywho, like I was saying.
Album?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Playoffs? Well, you can't even run a game. You're talking about albums.
Listen,
Iggy Azalea, I think she has like 2 passable songs, maybe?
Maybe. And one of them was like her wasn't
it with Ariana Grande? I think.
I don't know what song you're talking about.
The one I used to listen to some song. It was her and Ariana Grande. If I looked it up, I figured it out. But
the only songs you like of hers has somebody on it is kind of my point. Because here's the thing: there are a lot of rappers that are really, really good. There are a lot of female rappers that are really, really good, and they dip their toes because it's a part of who they are. Like, hey, my sexuality is a part of everything else I got going on, so I'm gonna rap about it sometimes. That's fine. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But if every single song you got, the 12-song album, and every single song is the exact same thing, come on, bro.
But okay, so now I get to say what I need to say. So this is what I have to say.
Okay.
It's gonna be a nuanced take, though. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So, one, I don't like it when people talk about like the Sukianas and the Ice Spices of the world and say, "Oh, they're trash, they're trash, they're trash." And I think what they be meaning is, they're saying all they're talking about is the sex piece, right?
Okay.
And I always ask the same question. Yes, but what is it that they're trying to do? What are they trying to get across? Like, are they trying to be like Nas, trying to have some deep lyricism where they're trying to teach you something?
Mm-hmm.
Or is the point, is my niche, my gimmick is I'm going to have a nice beat and I'm going to describe sex.
Okay.
So, hold on. So what I'm saying is, I think in their defense, if you look at what they're trying to do in their actual application, they're doing it correctly, because Ice Spice, I don't think Ice Spice set out to be like Biggie Smalls or like the greatest rapper. No, I think what she's trying to do is, I want to be physically attractive.
Yeah.
And I want to put out songs with catchy enough beats that people are going to look at me and listen to them. And at the end of the day, that's what Sukiana's doing. They're trying to go viral, look nice, and talk about those things. Now, if you're saying, yeah, but as a rapper, I want you to be a lyricist, then I think you're at the wrong party. That's my opinion. Because I think they're doing what they set out to do.
Here's the problem that I have, okay?
Okay.
Because I take your point. I do not expect Sukiana or Sexy Red or Ice Spice to be a female Nas. I don't expect them to be Doichi. That's her name. I don't expect them to be like Doichi and be coming up with all these complicated multisyllabic, internal and external rhyming lines that, kind of harken back to the first verse. Like, they don't have to do all the complicated stuff. When I think of what they're doing, they are trying to be a Lil Jon, a Yin Yang Twins, or a Pitbull.
Yeah, a party starter.
A party starter. But the problem is, when you listen to a Lil Jon album or a Pitbull album or a Yin Yang Twins album, they still have a range. So, no, all of their songs are going to be about the same thing. But they're not all going to sound... It's not going to be like you play 6 Lil Jon songs in a row and it sound like the same song 6 times. Where they're using the same flow, they're using the same rhyme scheme. They might even recycle some of the same lines. Like, they really have some variety to them, even if it's just the music. Like they use different producers, they use different composition styles. They mix up like the styling of the music. Lil Jon will go and do a lot of features with different kinds of artists to vary up the sounds of the music.
Yeah, because he did a lot of stuff with like Usher, but then he'll do. Like the party, the party vibe.
He did stuff with pop singers. He did stuff with rappers. He did stuff with rock. He did stuff with like country music stars. Yeah. So like that's all I'm saying is and again, to be fair to these ladies, all right, they're all fairly new in their careers. I don't think any of them have been rapping longer than maybe 5 or 6 years. So to be fair,
they haven't been famous longer. They might have been rapping longer. They've been making their own music and doing.
I'd be genuinely surprised if Sexy Red or Ice Spice have been rapping for longer than maybe 2 or 3 years.
Ice Spice is like 23.
That's my point. Suki might be the oldest one, and I don't think she's over 30.
No, Cardi B's probably the oldest.
Well, no, what I'm saying is in the trash stop rapper category.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are definitely nowhere near that category.
And they have been
Megan Thee Stallion is a better rapper than most male rappers. Like
I don't know about that. Like
Megan Thee Stallion is an amazing rapper.
Okay,
she has flow that a lot of rappers don't have.
I agree with you, but
top 10 of all time?
No, if I were making a top 10 rapper list
of today,
yes, she wouldn't make it.
She might make top 25. There's hundreds of rappers. I mean, okay, let's even say that the main rappers, the Lil Waynes, the Ludacris of the world. Yeah. No, I don't think she would be in the top 10. But what I'm saying is,
my point.
She wouldn't be anywhere remotely close to the bottom. Anywhere near.
Okay, but here's the problem. When I think of somebody like Doichi could make a top 10 list. She's that versatile.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I know you don't know who this is.
Elliot doesn't listen to mainstream music, you guys.
I actually
don't. He listens to it a little bit.
I'm a hipster, okay?
He knows who Megan Thee Stallion is. He knows who Cardi B is, but...
And I listen to their music. But
you're not deep into
my favorite thing to do, by the way.
Yeah, because I remember when you put me on the Tyler the Creator and some of like the let's call them C-level rappers.
No, what they are is they're underground. They're underground rappers. They're not nobodies.
Well, Tyler the Creator wasn't really. No, he was a little bigger, but yes, I see what you.
But they're still underground.
Lil Tony's like that. He used to put me on the rappers. I'd be like, who? Like one
Same
time
thing.
we were talking, I think we were talking about J. Cole, and
Yeah.
then he starts throwing out these names. I'm like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? So, it's nothing wrong with that.
And I mean, one of the things, and this is why.
But
okay,
Megan Thee Stallion got flow, and she
does. And I want to make it 100% clear, okay? That this is not a question of is Megan Thee Stallion talented, or even is like Sukihana or Sexy Red or Ice Spice talented. They have talents. They have marketability. They know how to present exactly the product that they're trying to sell. But
yeah, and it's definitely selling.
it's not music.
I can't agree with that.
What they're selling is not music.
It's
What they're
definitely
selling
music.
is an aesthetic, and what they're selling is like a vibe. But like the music itself,
The musicality, you're saying.
you could literally put anybody else. You could just take another pretty woman and just use their voice and put it on in the video, and nobody would care.
No, not what Megan Thee Stallion does. Nope.
I'm not talking about. You keep bringing it back to Megan as if she's the one. She's in this category over here, and we're talking about this category over here.
Okay, that's fair.
So
now,
like,
what Ice Spice does, somebody else
that's what I'm
could do
saying.
that.
It could be any like relatively pretty young girl who can sort of kind of sound good on a mic, and
Work in a music video.
And you put them on those same beats, and they will have a semi-successful career. So,
But I don't. One thing though, I gotta defend Ice Spice a little bit.
but to be fair to them, what the personality, because I think that might be the thing that makes these people
I'm gonna let you finish,
these people stand out of the crowd, right? Because when you hear Ice Spice talk on like interviews, there is there's a personality there that's like interesting.
Yeah.
She's not like, she ain't really in your face. She's not being super aggressive, but she like, nah, I kind of know what I like. I know what I'm about. These are the vibes I go for. Some stuff is whack, some stuff is cool, and she just chilling.
Well, one thing I can say that interests me about Sukihana, actually, believe it or not,
It's the same thing, right?
she's very nuanced and she's very interesting.
Yeah,
Cardi
when she starts
B is
talking.
extremely intelligent.
And when she
And
starts talking,
she
like,
talks
huh.
about, she's like super politically, not just aware, but active.
It's funny.
And so for example, if you guys ever have some spare time,
Yeah.
go on YouTube and look up Cam Newton, the football player, Cam Newton's podcast. He had an episode where he talked to
Cardi B?
Sukihana for about an hour and a half or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about her upbringing. She talked about her interests. She talked about a lot of things about the way she carries herself
And
in
like
this,
how she became the person
in
that
this
she is.
sexual nature.
Okay.
Right. And for me, it's very easy to look at these women and be like, oh, that's just a sexual woman
judgmental.
or whatever. She's doing this and doing that. But no, like, I listened to the things that she had to say, and it was very interesting. So it's important not to just judge them based on just their music, because they are people outside of the show. But I'll defend Ice Spice because when Ice Spice first came out, Ice Spice dropped that song, and everybody was listening to it, right? But at the same time, people was roasting her, and I didn't like it, bro. I didn't like it.
I'm gonna be honest.
I did not like it because somebody was playing the song for her to have been on the BET Awards and been at all these shows and making all this money, and people was roasting her. Oh, she sucks. Oh, she sucks. Oh, well, somebody likes it. So y'all gonna be nice to this girl even though she got one song.
I take your point, because I do think when we say trash thought rappers, that has like a specific like.
No, she's in the in the category.
Okay, but when you say that, with that, if they were standing in front of us, I couldn't in good conscience be like, hey, y'all are in the trash thought rapper category. Like, that would probably feel bad to say to somebody in person.
And again, to make sure that I'm clear, Megan and Cardi B are nowhere near this category.
No, they're not.
So let's continue.
But the reason that I categorize them that way is because what people like about them is not their music. So,
oh, I know what people like.
Shut up! What's wrong with you? You're right. We both know. That's not.
Oh, y'all gonna act like y'all don't know what people like about Ice Spice?
No, I have no idea. My eyes don't work. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and take these off.
I genuinely don't know what people like about Sexy Red. I personally, I am not a fan of Sexy Red like that. I get it. The song is catchy. It's kind of like Young Thug.
The song, it's not even that catchy to me. But
you talking about Pound Town, right? That's her.
Yeah.
That's her.
That's her like claim to fame. Yeah, I mean,
Sukihana's different because Sukihana is just so over the top.
She do be over the top.
I mean,
and her videos be.
I'm not gonna
crazy.
say any cuss words, but like she made a song. The latest one is he just ate my backside. Now he want to switch. Now I'm eating his backside. And then she just begins to repeat that over and over again.
That's
and there's
the whole
N-words
song.
thrown in. Yeah, well, that's the chorus. Or she says that, now I'm eating his backside.
That's the chorus of the song.
She's using colorful language, and she says it again,
bruh.
And then she says the N word, and it's eating his backside. It's like,
I'm gonna be honest, I can't listen.
My
to
mom watches the show, so I can't be saying these types of words.
We're not gonna do that.
But the thing is, right? But what makes Sukihana funny is Megan's not gonna say that.
Nah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Cardi B is not gonna say that like that. And so it's kind of she's the one that made that song about I think it was Sukihana. I just need a Henny and a Plan B.
Yes.
And it's like a whole twerk song.
Bruh.
It's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not going to get a Tiny Desk.
You
rap it like this.
Not a Tiny Desk concert. I mean, to be honest, okay, again.
Well, that's not even true because I watched Megan Thee Stallion's Tiny Desk.
And it was good.
It was good. But it was like, it was kind of like, you could notice that she's like, ooh, this is kind of raunchy.
Here,
ooh. This is not a, because it's not a big concert where everybody's like it's a Tiny Desk, where it's people sitting in seats. And it's kind of.
This is why I think when you're a musician, when you're an artist of any kind, it's really important to have different. Yeah, you need to have some range, okay? Because you need songs that you can play to different crowds, so that when you get to your Tiny Desk concert moment, you're not over there playing twerk songs with acoustic instruments.
And what you gonna do? Bleep it out? No, you do the song.
Yeah, you do the song.
And then so
don't be ashamed now. You rap the lyrics.
So Halia brought up to me recently. Sexy Red was invited. I think this was to her middle school. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong about that. I would have to look it up. But I think it was the school she went to. Mm-hmm. But she was invited to a middle school to perform. Pound Town.
A middle school?
Yes.
Who did that?
Somebody who hopefully lost their job.
Yeah.
So Sexy Red.
I hope they.
She's the one that made the song. I think it's thugging in my round my.
No, it don't matter.
Never mind. You guys just look up the lyrics. I can't even say these words.
If you know who Sexy Red is, you know she.
You already know what she rapping about.
At nobody's middle school. That's what I'm gonna say.
She shouldn't be performing at a school at all.
I mean, she can perform at colleges.
A grad school. No, no, she could perform in a college. Like whatever. She probably is performing at colleges. But you don't. Like he said, I think the range discussion is probably the most important because you do want to be in a situation where you're able to perform for different types of groups. Because I would be embarrassed. Well, I don't know because when you're in that level of Amber Rose calls it being sexually liberated, right? To the point where you're like, whatever. Sexuality is kind of what I do. It's a part of my persona now. Yeah. It was a part of my art. Yeah. This is what I do. And I'm just not that sexually liberated. I'm sorry.
I think the problem with like that sort of thinking is it removes the ability to be appropriate. Mm-hmm. So like one thing that I don't like about artists who lack that range, right, is Tupac could go and like he had songs that he could perform at like a party. He had songs he could perform at like a serious event. Like, hey, we got Tupac coming because there's
he could get invited by like politicians.
He could get invited by politicians. He can get invited by schools. He can get invited by sports events. He's got all of these different types of songs for different types of events, and I think it's really important as an artist. Now, again, this is if you're an artist who's looking to not get pigeonholed and be stuck in this box, right? Because you can't invite Da Brat to like any even reasonably like.
Well, she just had a baby. You can
stuffy function, because you can't invite her to perform there, right? Because
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know any of Da Brat's music.
Well,
not even one.
I can tell.
Well, maybe if I heard it, I would know the song.
It's before our time for real, anyway. But
she's still rapping though.
I believe.
Well, she just had a baby.
But my understanding
her and her wife just had a baby.
All of her music that I've heard is exactly like Sukihana's music. It's like overly raunchy and overly explicit. That's like her thing.
But it's not just them, because the male rappers are definitely. And if we're gonna talk about range,
listen.
Have you ever seen Funny Marco before?
Funny Marco?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, so Funny Marco, he's the guy that does those awkward interviews where he interviews celebrities and the conversation is super awkward.
I mean, there's a lot of people who do that, like Z-Way too.
And the what's that white girl that just did the interview with Drake in the bed?
I don't know her name because
you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, and I don't know. She's a plant.
She actually did one with Funny Marco.
She's an industry plant.
Well,
that's a different conversation too. Because how you get an interview with Drake and nobody's ever heard of you?
Let's talk about that off camera because I don't think she's an industry plant.
We're just gonna set that to the side.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But like the point is, Funny Marco did an interview with the baby. You know the rapper,
yeah,
the baby,
yeah.
And
I know the baby.
he always asks these very pointed questions
About what?
just about anything, and a lot of them are disrespectful is not the word, but a lot of them are questions that you wouldn't normally ask them.
Okay,
so he was like,
"Is
do
this
you
like
like
Between Two Ferns?"
Yes, it's literally a black version of Between Two Ferns.
Okay.
It's at Calvin Ackles.
Okay.
So he asked him, he's like, do you like change or do you like things to stay the same? He always asks people that though.
Right.
And then he sets you up for some goofy question.
So for
he's
a
like,
ridiculous question
do I
afterwards.
like change? Change is good. He's like, okay. So why do you rap the same on every beat? and no, I'm keeping it real.
That's disrespectful.
Tell me the baby every song. It's like the rapper that passed away.
It's a whole bunch of them.
No, yes it is.
Unfortunately,
I'm gonna have to look it up. What's his name? The one that was working with 50 Cent.
that was working with 50 Cent.
He made that song Dior.
Oh, you talking about
I have to look it up. I'm sorry.
No. I know who you're talking about. Just give me a second. He was a New York rapper. He had a super deep voice that apparently was new.
What is his name? Everybody watching right now is probably like, I know his name. They're probably just yelling it at the screen.
Right, because they know exactly who we're talking about.
I have to look it up. What is his name?
Who?
Yes, him.
Dior. I know who we talking
Pop
about.
Smoke. Pop Smoke.
That's
There's a lot of rappers who all of their music. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke because I actually really like Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of rappers, honestly.
But we gotta. Okay.
Whose entire range is the same.
Yes.
I mean, it's the exact same.
But the difference between Pop Smoke and DaBaby is Pop Smoke was only rapping, like seriously, like famously for like a couple of years at most, right?
I know. It's a shame though because he was actually smart.
Good.
He was a really good rapper.
He had a real trajectory, and his life got cut short. And
but DaBaby's rap does sound the exact same on every song.
And I can't listen to a DaBaby album. I'm gonna just keep it.
Disagreement. I definitely can do that.
I cannot. I tried several different albums after like 3 songs.
They do all the time the same. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not about to sit here and
bangers.
talk about the thought rappers about range and needing range and blah 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 and not keep it real with y'all.
I'm equal opportunity. Okay.
You know who else?
I can't listen to a DaBaby album and I can't listen to a Sukihana album. I can't.
You know the rapper?
They get the playlist treatment.
Lil Baby.
Yes, Lil
When
Baby.
he first came out, I couldn't stand it.
Because you didn't like his voice.
His voice. I have a voice thing, as you know.
I know.
But his voice was like whiny. It was like weirdly whiny to me. But now I like his rap, so I'm cool. But like at first, it was like,
okay.
I used to be like, bro, why are you talking like that?
You know who else gave me that exact same vibe? Baby Keem.
Don't know who that. You keep throwing these names out there.
You should know who Baby Keem is. Baby Keem is Kendrick's cousin. Him and Kendrick were on that. Yeah, they were on that song together. Family Ties, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Where Kendrick starts doing all the crazy accents. Hey there, brother. No? Okay.
Not doing it for me, bro.
Baby Keem is Kendrick's cousin. They came out and they were on a bunch of songs together. And Keem has a super high-pitched voice like mine.
Your voice is not high.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it alone.
My voice is not high-pitched.
We're going to go back
until I get excited. And I start talking like this. Okay. So Baby Keem's rap voice is up there. It's in that register. It's in that alto-ish register. And I was like, this ain't it.
I don't know anything about that.
You're going to have to stop that.
Stop what?
That right there.
What?
We're not doing that. Anyway.
This is just my regular voice. You know what I'm saying? No, but like, that actually brings up an interesting point.
Which is?
Rappers with a voice that you think is a good rap voice and rappers with a voice you think is a bad or annoying rap voice to you.
Okay. So I didn't like Kendrick's rap voice at first.
Okay.
But the more I think your rap voice has to be well paired with your lyrical ability. So like I think the reason Kendrick's rap voice works so well is because the way that Kendrick raps, his voice is all over. It's changing every single song. So it has such a range and such a vibe to it that when he starts talking about different things, like you stop caring about his voice altogether because you're absorbing the words. But if he was like mumbling nonsense, like his rap voice would be terrible. You know who has a great rap voice? Designer. Designer has a great rap voice and cannot rap. He could not rap his way out of a wet paper bag. Poor fella.
You know what's crazy? You are 100% correct.
Because last night, get on a beat
me and Leah were literally watching the lyric video to Timmy Turner.
Yes.
I love that song.
And he's
not
saying
no idea what he's talking about.
But his voice is so good. So, in my opinion, okay, there is a place for ghost rappers. Ghost rappers should be behind people who have phenomenal rap voices. Designer should stop writing his own lyrics. He should have a ghostwriter.
I don't think he's writing them. There's no way you're writing those lyrics.
There's no way.
Have you ever seen him do a freestyle?
I have.
If you ever want to laugh,
I have seen him do a freestyle.
Maybe one day I'm gonna react to one on TikTok tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna do.
XXL freshman freestyle.
Oh yes, he did it with Lil Dicky.
Yes,
yes.
He was either right before or right after Lil Dicky, and it was embarrassing.
In my personal opinion, Lil Dicky's actually one of the best freestylers in America.
He is.
Sometimes I don't know if he's actually freestyling until you really watch it and you watch how long the video is. No, and like if you ever watch the ones where they'll give him a topic and he'll just start spitting off the dome.
No. So
I used to think freestyling was half they wrote some of those lyrics and half they're freestyling until I went to college and met real rappers.
Yeah.
Because in high school, you know some people that think they can rap.
Right.
But when you get to college and you meet people from everywhere in the world, and you start meeting people that are not just, the city you grew up in. No, you meet real rappers. And so, like in the fraternity, and I met people that are real live rappers that it don't even matter what the topic is.
They could just spit.
It used to be so enamoring. Like, you'd be like, how are you thinking of these things? They're probably watching their videos on 2 times speed like you do. Because I don't know how you can think that fast.
Okay, but it's interesting because I knew that I'm not a lyricist because I don't think in words fast enough to ever be able to freestyle. It's just not a thing. But now I can produce music all day long. I can come up with new music ideas just off the dome. I can just make beats. But I can't rap. So I agree. It is very enamoring. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I'm never gonna pretend like I'm a rapper because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not.
Have you ever watched Lil Wayne freestyle? Like just watch him rap? Because he has not written a single thing in like
he said
20
he would
years.
go in the studio and he'll just
record.
spit something and he's got people out there just writing it down.
Yes.
So that that's what I said? Wow.
Literally this
I
man.
don't know how he does concerts because he doesn't write any of the stuff down.
He don't remember. But okay, what's even funnier is he said now he has rapped so much that now he got to start checking and making sure he's not reusing
he's like I said that? I said that? If y'all look it up on YouTube, he's literally interviews of people reading Lil Wayne lyrics to him.
Is that what I said?
He's like, I said that.
That's good.
That's heat. That's
crazy.
Fire. Like that is a level of honesty. Like I'm really freestyling. Like
listen,
I'm
just spitting on the beat.
Yeah.
I showed up. I said words in the mic, and then
he said I'll just think of some stuff, whatever I had going on that day, and I just spit. Like whatever it is.
Listen.
So people that I think have really good rap voices. One, Busta Rhymes.
I agree.
Nicki Minaj. I think she has a really good rap voice.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but
that song Monster, the Kanye West song when she went crazy.
Yeah.
No, Nicki Minaj has a fire rap voice.
Listen, the problem is you named the one song we both thought of when you said that.
Because her rap voice is fire. Her rap could, and then she like one thing that some people might not like it, but one thing that I like about Nicki Minaj is that she changes the intonation of her voice.
Yes.
So she'll do what I'll describe it as the sensual version of her voice, and then she'll do the aggressive rap, right? And so that's one thing that I like about Nicki Minaj.
Of her voice.
Personally, not a big fan of Lil Wayne's voice. It sounds like he needs a glass of water all the time.
I mean,
I like his lyricism.
Probably because he just finished smoking right before he started rapping.
Yeah, he smokes a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much as Snoop Dogg.
On the mic.
Snoop Dogg's
also
rap voice.
Yeah, he does have a pretty dope
and
rap
he's
voice.
also one of the best freestylers there's ever been. So Snoop Dogg has a talent.
I haven't seen Snoop Dogg rap for real in some years, so I'm going to have to take your word.
Yeah. Get on YouTube and just type in Snoop Dogg freestyle.
Yeah, I'll have to do
videos
that.
everywhere.
Because that's
Snoop Dogg has.
That's not what I'm familiar with.
Snoop Dogg has a level of talent for performing.
That is true.
That is almost unrivaled.
That is 100%
right.
True. Because this man has showed up on a lot of like movies and television shows, and he somehow manages to be the most entertaining part of just about everything he's in. You know who else is like that? 2 Chainz. Every time I see 2 Chainz on anything, he is so funny.
Yeah, 2 Chainz is lit.
He's hilarious.
I remember. No, I'm not about to go back to his old name because we have to say words that we don't want to say.
Correct. This is a family show. We're not gonna go there.
But I was. I said I started this out with talking about Lil Baby. I didn't like his voice back in the day. Like now, I'm. It's grown on me. I feel like I'm having the opposite effect with Drake. I'm the biggest Drake fan there is. I love Drake, but I feel like his rap voice back in the day
was better.
I liked it better than I like some of what he got going on now.
You know why?
I'm still the biggest Drake fan in the world.
Well,
and if he came to Norfolk, I would be there.
So back in the day, that was Drake. That was Drake rapping in Drake style.
Yeah.
Now I don't know who Drake is, and I haven't known for like 5 years since.
When my man's popped out with that FUBU T-shirt with the two puffballs out to the side, I'm like, bro, what are you? With the Timbs and the bell-bottom jeans, I was like, bro, what do you got going on?
When he adopted a like UK grime rapper accent for like a whole album,
combination. When he did that, with the Jamaican accent and stuff,
and he would like whatever is it Views, the one where he's sitting on top of the building?
Yeah, it is just Views. Yeah.
Well,
I'm still the biggest Drake fan in the world. I love Drake. So.
I like the Views album. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of really good songs, but Drake does this thing where he's like,
he tries to act like he has an accent.
It's not even that he's acting like he has an accent. It's like he hears something, he's like, that's dope. I'm gonna copy it exactly.
I'm gonna do that thing.
I'm not gonna do it in Drake style.
I'm gonna do it in that style.
And the thing that frustrates me is you look at Drake just ripping. He's literally just like ripping people's style, and then you look at like J. Cole, who is actually versatile. So J. Cole can get on a song with Gucci Mane, and he's doing his own style every time. He's doing the J. Cole version of whatever song he's on. So,
but he ain't gonna do it like Drake though. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Drake is literally like the #1 rapper in the world. So
yes, but some of that is attrition. Some of that is he's just making enough money to basically brute force his way into having.
Well, Drake is kind of like the mainstream media of rappers. Like he is to me, Drake is like. It doesn't really matter what he puts out.
He's the because Prince he put out and the Michael Jackson of rap right now.
Yeah, he put out that 3-song. He put out like a 3-song. I guess we call it mixtape.
No, I mean.
Yeah, or EP. Yeah. Like this was like 3 years ago, something like that. He had that one song with Rick Ross on there. But that was garbage. I was like, what is this? What is this?
It was a Drake project.
And I was offended because I'm a huge Drake fan. But I was like, this is garbage. And I know that you're going to make so much money on this garbage.
That's how I feel about the last like 5 Kanye albums. Not because I genuinely am frustrated by Kanye because I think Kanye is getting his own way of actually being as great as he could be. It's like
Is it the anti-Semitism?
It's not the anti-Semitism because I think genuinely he has a real point to make, and he is a piss poor communicator. That's really his problem. So Kanye has a problem where he does not actually value the purpose of communication. So I'm going to say this for everybody that's out there, and I'm probably going to repeat it again in the future. Communication is not for you. Communication is for everybody who's listening to you. So when you try to get ideas from your head into other people's heads, you need to actually care about conveying the ideas that are in your head so that other people understand you. Kanye's problem has always been that he has a lot of very complicated ideas in his brain, and he does not have a good way of conveying those ideas. He tries to do it through his music. He tries to do it through his lyrics. But when he actually just starts talking, he makes terrible points. So that was a choice. Like
slavery is a choice thing.
The point he was trying to make is, hey, there was enough people and there is a world where there was more of us than there were of the white people in a whole lot of places, and we could have took over some areas. We could have just went to war and took over some stuff because there was enough of us to do it, but we had actually internalized so much of what was done to us that we no longer saw
black people,
that was an option.
He thought that he felt as though they decided we can't do anything. The problem was, Elliot,
I don't think that's what he was trying to convey, and
he was saying it was a choice.
I know,
but what I'm saying is,
when you use
my issue with Kanye is that, with that level of wealth and that level of power, it is your responsibility, one, to be well read in the things that you say, and to be responsible with the things you say.
Well, again,
and so
you're saying he's being irresponsible, and I agree with you to a point. But I think what I'm trying to...
because you saw all the things. Did you see all the things he said?
Yes. I've seen the majority of the things
because know that black people did try to take over areas. And then they were murdered.
Yes. My point... Okay. The point he was trying to make...
I get it. Yes, there were way more slaves on each plantation than the slave owners. I got that,
So with that understanding, there's a question of why didn't they just take over the plantations at the point when there was more of them than there were white people?
Well, because They tried. A lot of them.
No,
Not all of them, but a lot of them tried.
When you say they tried,
Yes.
what happened was there were specific people who riled up enough of the people around them, and they didn't even try. Like, they were successful. Nat Turner was successful for a little while.
Sometimes. Every now, like the Nat Turner was successful in the beginning. That wasn't the only slave rebellion. Of course, they tried. But the thing is, it's easy for us to play Monday morning quarterback here because, one, shout out to Miss Hatfield in high school for teaching us about this.
Yeah.
For slave whippings, they would get all the slaves. How did we get here?
They
would get all the slaves together and make them watch.
We're talking about Kanye.
Two, people did try to run. People did try to fight back. People did. We didn't have education. We didn't have weapons. We didn't have access to a lot of things that a good rebellion would have been able to do. I'm not saying that I don't understand the thought process, but what I'm saying is it's easy for Kanye in his $1 million home to look at those people and say, why didn't you do X, Y, and Z?
I hear you, but the problem that I have with what you're saying is I think because he's a piss poor communicator, I think you're actually missing what I took from what he was saying. What he was trying to convey is, hey, every day you make a decision about what things are important, and freedom should be paramount important. So there should never be a time.
Well, you say paramount.
I know,
but I think for them, being alive was paramount.
I agree with you. I'm not saying they made a bad decision. I'm not saying I agree with Kanye. What I'm trying to say is his point of view is still valid.
Okay.
There is a valid point of view inside the mess of what actually came out of his mouth.
Now,
and the
anti-Semitism half. No, I'm not going for that.
Okay,
saying that Hitler was cool and all that stuff.
I don't know if he said Hitler was cool.
He definitely said that a bunch of times. He was on Alex Jones, and Alex Jones said, "Whoa, we're not cool with Hitler." And he said, "I like Hitler." That's what Kanye said. I'll show you when we get off.
I'll show you when we get off. I saw that. Okay, wait. I saw that video, and the problem in that video is all of the things that he said around Hitler is cool weren't, hey, I like Hitler because of what he did to the Jews. It was, I love everybody. I think we need to hold space in our hearts for all kinds of people because... But for the grace of God.
No, okay.
Also. And
if we're gonna, let's
again. He is a bad communicator. So I love Hitler is not the way you convey that. Hitler is the worst example because while you can say, hey, we need to hold love in our hearts even for those who hate us, you never have to speak Hitler's name. You don't need to do that.
Well, no, but I think
when you are.
I don't
also making all of these points about Jews, but he's.
I don't know if you're. Maybe you didn't see it all. Maybe that's what's happening. Because if you saw
it was bad.
All of the things that he said,
I did.
You wouldn't be. I don't think you would be saying that. Maybe you didn't see everything he said.
I did see everything he said.
Like
because
the stuff he was saying about how. I'm gonna just show it to you off the show. Because
I don't. We don't want to get demonetized.
I'm trying. Yeah, I know, and I feel like we're like 75% of the way there.
Yeah, because
the point is, he was saying Kanye West said a lot of things about.
He did.
He talked about how, like, the Germans were doing education programs and this, that, and the third. I don't know. This is why I was saying it's important to be well-read and be responsible.
Correct.
One, I don't know if Kanye knows how the Nazis felt about black people.
No,
I really don't think that he's ever been informed on that. Two, just today's media environment, you kind of can't say anything about our Jewish brothers and sisters without being attacked, right?
You know why?
Yes, because historically they have been attacked. And
I actually think that's not the problem. The problem is everybody wants to do everything in these punchy, short form segments instead of actually having long form conversations.
Yeah, but the things Kanye said were long form conversations. Well, they really were. I'm telling you, they were.
I know. I watched. It was like 45 minutes of
Alex Jones. So you saw him on Alex Jones?
When Alex Jones is the most reasonable person in a conversation, you are messing up.
Yeah.
Okay? So, no.
Alex Jones said, whoa.
I don't agree with
I don't agree with any of that.
When Alex Jones is like, whoa, I gotta disavow what this guy's saying.
And then he had like a bottle of Yoo-hoo chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And a fishing net, like a jellyfish off a SpongeBob net.
Yes.
And he was saying that was Benjamin Netanyahu. And he was like attacked.
Oh no, I definitely
like the prime minister. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was saying he was making these like very anti-Semitic jokes. about those two props.
Sure. And you know what?
And talking about the Jewish community in general.
Here's the problem that I have with Kanye, okay? Because I think what happened was he started off saying something that was like semi-reasonable, which was, hey, I have had bad experiences with these
Jewish executives in Hollywood
people,
or whatever.
And they were all of this particular religion, and I think we should talk about whether that is interesting or whether that's notable or whether that's a problem. And everybody kind of jumped on his back about it, and so he decided he was going to go.
Well, no,
he basically
it's not even that.
I'm going to say everything I want to say, and a bunch of it was nonsense.
Because he started out by basically... You know, Dave Chappelle, on one of his comedy shows, he made a little comment about this. But
I remember.
He started out by saying, there's a lot of Jewish people he was saying, like, Jewish people run this, that, and the third. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a very standard anti-Semitic trope. We're going to start there.
It is a problem.
Now, true or false, that's an anti-Semitic trope.
Right.
So you starting off, people are already going to be on edge.
Yeah.
But then he goes on to say, oh... this Jewish person and that Jewish person and that Jewish person. He starts attacking them. They're all literally attacking Kanye West. And then they're like, wait a minute. But the head of that company is a Christian. And the head of that company is an atheist. And the head of that company is Jewish. And the head of this company is Muslim or whatever. And he's like, no. They're all Jews.
And again, okay.
And people are like, but wait a minute. Why do you think that they're coming after? Like he was saying, like Adidas... Remember they cut the Yeezys at first and all these other he was saying I could say anti-Semitic things and no one could do anything.
And they were like, for real? Oh, for real? You could do that?
What are you doing, sir? What are you doing?
I want to try and make sure I'm 100% crystal clear here. Kanye West is an idiot when he starts talking. Okay, the problem is
as long as he's quiet,
nobody knows you're dumb till you start saying stuff.
Do not attack a group of people just because they are in the group. If you're going to say there is a specific person that did X, Y, and Z, then you attack that person. But you can't... What are all these random people that are in the Jewish faith have to do with you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
You over here associating a whole bunch of people who have absolutely no control or power over anything.
And then you're going to try to pull all black people in like, oh, they're attacking black people. No, sir.
Right.
Actually, it's so funny how projection it works. No, you're attacking all of them.
Matter of fact, you don't even like being black half the time. You told us you want black use Kanye. That's what you said.
Goofball. And then remember he went through the phase of how he was God?
Yes.
He talked about some Jesus. He said Jesus recognizes Jesus.
Listen, okay. This is the problem. He was hanging out with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z became Hov, and he was like, well, if Jay-Z can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, and then Jay-Z's like, you know what? You keep that over there.
Yeah,
because you're going way beyond what Hov was supposed to be.
Yeah, they definitely wilding. But speaking of rappers...
Jay-Z's another rapper. His voice, I wasn't a fan at the beginning. His voice is weird. It's like nasally.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never been like a huge Jay-Z fan. He's got some songs that I think are really good, but like... Other people like really stand Jay-Z like, nah, man, you really got to listen to this album. You got to listen to the Black album and yada yada. And I'm like,
still impressed by Jay-Z
as music.
He got Beyonce with that nose.
Shut up. So, but like his albums, like as a conceptual piece of art, are actually really impressive. So, like, can't take that away from the man.
He's cool.
What was the one that came out from the movie with Denzel Washington?
Which movie?
Was it Blue Magic? Was it just a song or was it an album called Blue Magic? I feel like he had an album.
I would have to look it up, to be honest.
Anyway, he's got some really good like conceptual albums, start to finish. Like it kind of tells a story. It's really good, but like I don't know, like stylistically, I don't know. It's not never anything I'm going to like sit down and listen to, if you know what I mean.
Favorite rapper? Go.
Favorite rapper?
Yeah.
Hold on. Now you asking me. I got to think about it for a second. Hold on.
Or even if you want to give me three.
Okay, I can give you three. Kendrick, J. Cole.
And it don't have to be all time. You got to bring up Biggie and Tupac. Like,
okay,
we don't have to do that. Give me three rappers. You're like, I could listen to them all day, and I love them. Like they're awesome.
Kendrick, J. Cole, and probably the third one is hard because I'm trying to think of the rappers that I'm actually listening to on a like semi-regular basis lately.
Okay, so I'll take the two.
Okay.
Give me a new age rapper that you like. One of these youngins.
I like Armani White. I like Piff Martin. These are going to be people you never heard of. I'm just telling you.
I think I've heard of Armani White though.
Yeah, he got some fire stuff. Piff Marty. What what's that boy name from Texas? Toby Ngwengwe.
I love that guy, man.
Everything he put out is fire.
You saw he was in the Transformers movie, and he's also in the Bob Marley movie that's coming out.
I didn't know he was in the Transformers movie. I saw him in something else, and he was great.
Yeah, he was like
effortlessly menacing, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, his stuff is great.
Me, I told you Drake is my Drake is up there. It's hard to choose. Now I get it.
No, pick some young boys. Who's some
definitely for me, NBA YoungBoy is one of my faves.
For real?
Yeah, he's fire.
I'm not a fan of YoungBoy for real.
You need to listen to Lonely Child. Halil be putting me on to these
new people.
Halil's a bigger NBA YoungBoy fan than I am. I remember saying, like a lot of people, YoungBoy. And then she was like, "No, listen to this." And she would play like Outside Today or No Smoke. Like she would play these songs. I'd be like, that's not half bad. And then I listen a little more, and then you get he's got some fire music. If you're not listening to NBA YoungBoy, give him a second look.
Listen,
try it again.
Blueface was on a video talking about how you gonna listen to how you know all NBA YoungBoy songs, you don't know my songs.
Because Blueface is trash.
I agree.
He's probably one of the worst rappers in America. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking.
He's like American Idol bad. Like
yes. Like first episode of American Idol auditions bad.
I'm gonna be honest.
Like he has no flow.
If they did
his beats, he's got one song that I like though.
But his flow, you're right.
He got that one song Disrespectful. That's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It's like 6ix9ine. Yeah. 6ix9ine is horrible, but he's got that one song I think called Toddy.
You know what's crazy? Actually, if 6ix9ine wasn't such a horribly unlikable person, his songs actually have an aesthetic that is like
garbage. Yeah,
it's not garbage though.
Like, trash, rubbish.
No, it's not all basura. Thank you. Okay.
I thought you were just looking for a synonym.
No,
because 6ix9ine is horrible.
Okay.
Like he got beat. You saw he got beat up. I think it was a bowling alley or something.
Yes.
He got beat up so bad that he put out that Caribbean type of song.
Yes.
They beat the rap out of him. he changed genres on us.
Listen, okay. I mean, that's like when Eminem and MGK had MGK literally had to go be a pop punk star for like 2 years before he could come back and rap again.
I mean, he did literally bring that beef out of nowhere.
He did. It was a 100. Well, it wasn't.
I don't even know what they were beefing about.
It wasn't out of nowhere. Eminem said something about MGK in his Kamikaze album. He mentioned him, and Eminem just be throwing random shots out. Because that's just what Eminem does. And his expectation is, listen, I'm throwing the shots out, but it's all in love. It's all in,
You also got to remember, most rappers would never engage.
I'm going to murder you.
They would never engage. 50 Cent talks about this, how most rappers have, like, this level of respect for Eminem.
Yeah.
They're like,
Right.
I'm not about to go back and forth with him. Right. For him to flame me on a song.
And if it's true, if what he's saying is true, like, just own it. Be like, I kind of make some garbage stuff sometimes. It's cool. I know it's all in respect.
I don't know how many diss tracks you actually know. Do you know one of your favorite diss tracks?
I mean, I do know a fair number of diss tracks. I have 3 favorites, okay? So there is, it's not called Kamikaze. What is it called?
The one against MGK?
Yes. That one.
Is his kill shot or was MGK's kill shot?
His is kill shot. Okay. Because MGK's was something else.
Yeah.
His was called Kill. So Kill Shot's one of them. There's the Drake Meek Mill.
Oh, you already know that's right. Back to back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Back to back. That's the one. Not Charged Up. Back to back.
I mean, back to back was so pointed. It's so like it. I don't know. Okay, so just to give y'all 2 seconds, there's Drake and Meek Mill were beefing. For those who don't know, this was a couple of years back, and like for whatever reason, Meek Mill wasn't putting out music, and Drake made the song, and in the song, he said, I guess this is what I got to do to make y'all rap. Because Meek Mill wouldn't put anything out. And then he put out this song that was like just a bunch of sounds from like movies and like 2 bars. It wasn't even a song. You can't even constitute that as a whole song. But Back to Back was the most.
Here's the problem, okay? So, did you listen to Charged Up? Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when he released Charged Up, okay, it was a real soft diss. It was as
he ain't hit him like no, he ain't hit him that
it's
hard.
Super subliminal. It's all sideways, side glance. It won't no straight shots in that song at all. Okay, but he released it, and everybody knew it was a Meek Mill diss, and there was no response. Then he released Back to Back. Now the problem wasn't just that he released the song;
it was everything that was happening around it.
He released the song, and then he went on stage and posted all the memes behind him while he performed the song with all of the Meek Mill memes behind
wearing
him.
a t-shirt that said "Free Meek Mill," meaning that he had this man locked up.
The disrespect was so palpable. Okay,
in the song, he talked about how Meek Mill's girl was like, I think there's a bar in there about her like paying for him or take care of him or something like that. Like, I know the words to it, but I can't think of which bar it is. I can't think of it either. But
I have to sing the song
because he was dating Nicki Minaj at the time. Yes, and there's a bar in there where he's literally like, you don't want
your man ain't making no money.
Yeah,
you
like,
gotta make the money in a relationship.
That's not a real man.
It's all cool.
And then, I mean, now I can't think of the name of it, but Meek Mill did put out a song after that.
He did.
Yeah, it was a really good comeback song.
Yes, but here's the problem. By then, nobody was listening. Too late. It was over. The beef was over. Like, no, you lost. Yeah, you lost. You can't come back. And here's the real problem. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Meek Mill has ever been the same. I don't think his rap
They're actually cool again now.
I'm sure they are, because Meek Mill's not really rapping.
Well, no, and then Meek Mill went to jail, and then he got out. You know,
speaking of which, and we can kind of wrap it up on this. So
I got one more.
Go with that.
It's called "Play with Your B Word." It's Young Dolph. That's my joint, bro.
Okay,
that's my joint.
It's funny. I heard that when I was in France. I had never heard of Young Dolph, but I was in France with some
Dolph
dudes.
is fire.
He was.
And, rest in peace to Young.
But like, I was in France with some dudes from Carolina, and they was like, "Oh, you ain't never heard of Dolph? You gotta listen to this." And they started playing a bunch of Young Dolph music, bruh.
That song was Young Dolph was dissing Yo Gotti.
Yes, bruh.
Oh man,
disrespectful.
There's a whole like 2-minute segment of him just talking at the end of the song, where he's just going off about how upset he is. Like, bro, the song is fire.
It's just absolute talking trash, and he dared him to do something about it, and you know, things went how they went. But yeah, so I wanted to just make a quick shout out. So I saw this video the other day by this guy named Dr. Hassan T. Johnson. And it was interesting because it mirrored some experiences that I've had in life, and I've been thinking about it. So he was talking about Meek Mill's court case and how sometimes there are a specific cohort of like he was making it specific to black women, and I don't know if it's necessarily black women, but for the sake of this particular example, his judge was a black woman judge, and apparently she has been reprimanded, or not disbarred, but whatever they do for judges, where they basically sit you down and say, hey, you can't be a judge no more, because she has been like
she's removed from the bench.
She's been removed from the bench, and a bunch of her cases now are having to be revisited, and a bunch of them are getting thrown out because something Meek Mill said was, no, bro, she's doing me dirty. Like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and she's making it absolutely impossible.
He went on a media tour after he got out, talking about it.
I
saw him on CNN.
One of the things that this Hassan T. Johnson guy was talking about is there seems to be like this weird thing where some black women in some positions of power, like, they OD on like that
they OD on black
on power. Like they get a lot of power, and then they like turn around and they start using it to like just knock down a bunch of black dudes. And he was talking about,
to be honest, that's not unique to black women.
That was kind of the point that I was going to make. Is I don't think that's a black woman specific thing. I actually think that's just like a person in power thing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But
maybe even you think it's a minority thing? Because when you said that, the first person that came to mind for me was Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, where you have people whose parents were immigrants, and they spend their entire career trying to keep immigrants from coming to the country.
That's actually a really good point. That's the person that I thought of was
people
Mrs.
that pulled the ladder up
my
behind
third grade teacher, who I watched her be aggressively overbearing to every young black boy that was in her class, including myself. And I was like I was a well-behaved kid. I read in class. I wasn't really like running around or making a lot of noise.
For reading.
I used to get in trouble constantly just for reading. I finished my work. I did what I was supposed to do. I wasn't really disrupting her class. I would sit in the back and read, and she would get mad. Sometimes she would take my book. One time she literally took my book, and I think she like tore the pages out, or she wouldn't give it back, and it was a library book, like from the public library. So I didn't own this book. I had to turn it back in, and she like literally ripped it out of my hands and threw it in a dress drawer. And I was like, bro, I have to turn that back. That's not mine. So like,
can you imagine going to school and your teacher calls your parents because you're reading?
Because you're reading. That's crazy, right?
She really did it. I remember. I wasn't even the one getting in trouble. I remember that. She would call our parents, Say, can you believe it?
Right.
This boy is reading
in
at
my class.
school.
And my parents, came to me and was like, listen, I know you're bored and you want to read, but if she tells you to just sit there, you need to just sit there. Which, I'm going to be honest, I love my parents. That was, still, to this day, that was some of the hardest advice to hear. Because in that moment, what I really wanted was for them to go to bat with me. But I understand why they couldn't. Like, at that point, like, they
maybe it was a lesson to be learned that sometimes life isn't just you get to do what you want. Sometimes you have to listen to people. And sometimes you have to do stuff that you don't agree with.
I think.
Because that's a big part of adulthood. And maybe that lesson, even though you didn't want to hear it, was necessary.
I think.
I would like to believe, at least.
Okay.
Maybe they should have went to bat for you, though. I probably would.
Here's the problem, though. I don't think that's true. I actually think that's where we get a lot of stuff messed up. So, I think the thing we'll close out on is there was a conversation between Kyle Kalinske and Brianna Joy Gray and
Crystal Ball.
Crystal Ball, thank you. And they were talking about the Democratic Party. We'll close it out on our little bit of political piece, right? And one of the things that Brianna, it seemed like the point she was trying to get at is, hey, listen, I understand that the Democratic Party, and Joe Biden in particular, like that's who they were talking about. Mm-hmm. But I understand that the Democratic Party has made a lot of positive changes recently. But the way that they're operating, like overall, their actual game plan, the things that they are doing are so disastrous and are going to lead us to a place that we can't afford to just let them kind of tinker around the margins, because all of the totality of all the other things they're doing could end up with all of us dying or being in like a world-ending situation. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you a couple of examples. It is abundantly obvious now that the pandemic we just went through was both caused by us. And by us, I mean specifically United States policy.
And all that.
Not just the lab, okay? The problem was that lab was moved to Wuhan to do that work because we outlawed that work in our country. Mm-hmm. Then we financed another lab doing that work in another country, and we encouraged them to do it in subpar conditions, with not enough safety testing, with not enough oversight, with not enough support to actually do it to all of the safety standards that they were supposed to be doing it to. Yeah. And then they covered it up. All of the people complicit in that cover-up.
No, you say they.
When I say they, I mean the people who were complicit in putting that lab in place in the first place. So I'm talking about Tony Fauci, I'm talking about the NIH generally, and I'm talking about a lot of people who were involved with the NIH, like in those capacities.
Well, Trump gets back in power.
Well, so
Anthony Fauci is going to be.
I think
they're going to kill that guy. They're going to attack him. They're going to put him in jail.
Here's the problem, though. If it's not Trump, it'll be somebody else. Because at some point, we have to get people who actually care about being honest as a limiting principle. Like, and we have too many people who are okay with dishonesty as like their like modus operandi. Like they just lie. And I don't mean they bend the truth. I don't mean they obfuscate facts. I don't mean they kind of leave things out so that you get a convenient narrative. Mm-hmm. I mean, they will stand in your face and tell you the opposite of things that are true. And I think that is very, very dangerous. And we're at a point where the Democratic Party is doing things that are going to make it impossible to ever get good government back in place. So, like, even if you don't want Trump to win, if you take all the people who are like burn it all down and you keep giving them reason after reason after reason to say, see, can you see this? So when you have Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein and Joe Biden, who are all absolutely incapable of actually doing their jobs, and yet we cannot get either political party to admit that, it is dangerous. Mm-hmm. And it's dangerous because at some point we are not going to be able to convince our fellow citizens that this political project that we're all embarking on, called America, is worth it if nothing we're doing is actually affecting all of the stuff that is supposed to affect.
I know. Isn't it depressing that year after year, political cycle after political cycle, presidential election after presidential election, we're talking about the same issues, and they literally get worse.
And this is, I think,
like, we've been talking about healthcare literally since Teddy Roosevelt was president, and we still don't have it.
Not only have we not done anything, it has gotten worse every single year.
We watch climate get worse, and we're just
okay.
like that is my concern.
Did you watch that movie Don't Look Up?
Of course.
I think about that movie every day.
I do too. I think about it a lot.
Every day.
Especially when
that is us.
When
it was
when corporate Democrats win, and it's not just them, but it's like the Republicans. They look at you and say, "Yeah, we're not going to give you health care."
But the
Democrats are like, we have the same. We agree. We both want it. We both want the same thing. It's just we just can't.
And that was kind of so.
That's why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The point. No, yeah, I'm being long-winded. The point that Brianna was making in that podcast that I don't think Kyle was ever able to really grapple with is no matter how many good things the Democrats do, they're always just doing enough good things to cover up for the fact that they're continuing to screw everybody over in all of the ways that matter.
Well, I've been saying forever that my biggest issue with the Democratic Party is that it feels like the corporate wing of the party's goal is to be 5% better than the Republicans. It's not to just do the right thing. No, it's not to be better. It's to be just enough better that we'll say.
No, that is exact. That is
Trump is bad.
You gotta understand.
I guess.
Okay, so
that's my problem.
And I think the reason so many people are so frustrated by what feels like a pivot by Kyle and Crystal is because I'm probably just
pivot to like people. They're like standing for Democrats.
They're making vote blue no matter who arguments right now. So what they're saying is, hey, Biden has done so many things that are actually positive that we need to take the incremental change that we have right now and we need to see if we can run with that. And the problem is the fact that they're only making incremental change and the fact that they're not doing a good enough job about all of the other things that are substantively and materially affecting people's lives means that no matter what they do, they're going to lose the next election.
See, but that's the problem.
So
the problem that I have with that thought process is I get it, and I actually agree more with you.
Yeah,
that we should and we do need to hold the Democrats accountable, and we do need to point out the fact that Biden killed Medicare for all, but did nothing for healthcare. But at the same time,
and he didn't go to East Palestine,
yeah,
and he broke the railroad workers' strike. So
yes, he did. He's done a lot of terrible things. But the problem is, right? Yeah. You have a two-pronged problem. One, Biden has done a lot of things that are good. He's done things, in my opinion, that I feel like Obama should have did.
Let me ask you a question.
But hold on, let me get to the other half.
Okay,
that's one problem. Biden has done good things that you would hope that all Democratic politicians would be trying. And the second part of the problem is we don't have an alternative. The fact that we don't have an alternative is set up by Biden and the Democrats. That is on purpose. That is the two-pronged problem.
Well, you're saying it's a two-pronged problem. I don't think it's a two-pronged problem. You're saying he's done a lot of good things.
Yes. I have to be honest.
Here's the problem that I have. I think when you actually get down to brass tacks about the good things that he's done, the vast majority of them were done despite him, not because of him. So when you look at all of the good stuff that the NLRB has done, it's not because of Biden. It's just because he put Lena Khan in there, and Lena Khan has a specific set of principles that she is running that department by.
But the problem is, Elliot, if he wasn't to put her in, would we have had her?
But listen,
would we have had her under a Hillary Clinton?
But listen to what I'm saying, though. It was a stroke of luck. It was not. The reason I know
we can say it was luck, but he is the one that put her there.
No, it's really important that we do not give him credit for lucking out and getting one good pick.
But he picked her.
The reason it's important that because he also picked Pete Buttigieg. He also picked
Pete Buttigieg is horrible.
He also picked the person who's over the Department of Education right now, who can't answer questions to Congress that are perfectly reasonable questions about where a lot of their money is going and where a lot of their programs are not living up to the standards that they set for themselves.
So we should criticize him for that.
We also have to look at his picks for the immigration advisors and all this stuff that's going on at the border. So there are a bunch of places where he's not just falling short; he's falling super short, because if he didn't pick a superstar person to actually do the job, he's not heading it up. He's not checking in. He's not.
But no president is.
That's not true.
What president is heading up every department? None of them.
But they are all checking in with their people and saying, "Hey, why is this like this? Okay, what are we doing?"
Oh, no, that's fair. That's fair.
He's not.
But I guess. But my question to you is.
But
my question to you, I agree with you.
He's not all there right now.
I agree with you.
So,
but my question still remains the same. The alternative is what? To either not vote?
No. The alternative is you use this voting cycle to say it doesn't matter who It's going to be a Trump. It's going to be a DeSantis. It's going to be a Vivek. There's always going to be some Republican boogeyman who is going to make the country worse. And if we keep ratcheting it to the right, eventually we're not even going to have a Democratic choice. Because
we're literally going to have a hard right winger or a moderate right winger.
And so,
which is basically what we have. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think Biden is pretty obviously a liberal. He's just as close to the center as you can be. He's as close to the center of a liberal as you can be. But I think the problem is, at some point, we have to say
I feel like Biden's pretty conservative, in my opinion.
Maybe, but I don't even think it's relevant, because the problem isn't Biden. The problem isn't Trump. The problem is the Democratic Party
and the Republican Party. They're both working to make sure we have a Biden-Trump situation.
But the problem is, if the Republican Party were doing all the same stuff, but the Democratic Party were actually a functioning political party, the Republicans would have to get better. They wouldn't have a choice because they stopped winning elections.
You said which one's not a functioning party?
The Democratic Party. Because the problem is the Republican Party, for all its other faults, it is functioning as a political party.
Well, I'm going to bring this thing full circle because we're going to wrap up here.
Yeah.
But when you say the Democrats aren't a functioning party, I disagree with that. I think the Democrats are doing the exact same thing the thought rappers are doing. Let me tell you what I mean.
Break it down for me. Bring it home.
What are the Democrats' target audience? Are they doing what you would deem as a functioning party, or is their actual? Listen, to what I'm saying. Or is their actual goal is to make sure that they narrow the choices down to where you have a corporate choice only? And is that what they're doing? And are they doing it well?
But
yes.
This is
the thought rappers. Their goal is to do one thing. They're not trying to be lyricists. They're not trying to be Nas. They are trying to do this one thing, and they're doing that one thing. And the Democrats are not trying to be a functioning party. They're not trying to give us a good, robust primary. But they are trying to shove Biden down our throats and show us, if you don't vote for Biden, then you have to vote for Trump or not vote, which is also voting for Trump. Well, that is what they're trying to do, and they're doing that very well.
Here's the problem.
Biden is half asleep.
Here's the problem with what you're saying. You're saying, no, they're just being a corporate party. No, because corporations don't have votes.
Actually, that's actually not true anymore. I'm going to send you the thing. A town just voted to... Well, no, the city council just gave the right to corporations to vote in that town in Delaware. So,
of course,
literally, they have a actual vote now.
Of course they did.
So now Delaware. There's a thing where... Is it West Virginia or is it Delaware?
Here's the thing.
I can't remember. It's either West Virginia or Delaware. One or the other.
Thing. I'm almost certain that is not legal by the U.S. Constitution. But
I know they're saying there's going to be challenges. But
yeah.
No,
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure.
It's one of the two. West Virginia and Delaware. I got to remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
Pretty sure
I think it's Delaware.
That's not going to pass muster. But listen, stranger things have happened. Corporations technically are treated like people. But I think the problem is corporations generally do not get to vote. People vote.
You say they don't get to vote.
No,
but they don't vote. What they get to do
listen to what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that they vote. I'm saying that they...
Only way a person gets to win an election is people, human beings who have birth certificates saying that they were born in the United States.
Or they've been naturalized.
Go to a ballot box and they cast that ballot.
Correct.
So... even with all of the steps in between, the actual thing that has to happen is a person has to cast a vote for those people. So at the end of the day, what is happening now, in my opinion, if we really want to get to a point where we have a functioning political party, then we have to vote for people who care about getting us back to a point where every political party has to actually be a party that is appealing to people who vote. Not corporations, not wealthy people who can do ads for them, but people who have to vote for them. And the only way to do that is probably going to be to vote for Cornel West, even if that means, Trump might win.
I'm sorry.
Because at some point...
I understand what you're saying. And to a degree, I agree with you, but I wouldn't be willing to take that chance.
Political power is only political power if you're willing to exercise it.
You're right.
Your vote only works as a lever when you're willing to give it to somebody else and say, I understand that there are consequences for voting this way, but the consequences for not voting this way seem more dire. And to me, the way the Democratic Party is operating, they are guaranteeing that eventually
you're going to have a worse Trump.
You're going to have
next
a worse
time
Trump
or the time after.
Eventually. It might not,
that's why
not be this time.
I think both.
But I don't want to wait.
And I want to end on this. I agree with you. I think both stances can be true at the same time. I do think that it's fair to say that the climate cannot afford 4 years of Trump.
It can't.
The election in 2028 cannot afford Trump trying not to leave office or Trump pulling anything near what January 6th was and all type of this stuff. But it's also fair to say, yes, there is a Republican boogeyman every 4 years where they try to shame everybody into voting for the Democrat, even though the Democrat sucks.
Yeah.
And I think, and so as the season goes on and the political season goes on, we're definitely going to get deeper and deeper into that because that's a fair conversation to be had. Yeah. I believe you.
Yeah. And I really think there's more to dig into. But I think that's a good place to end it. This has been the Pensive Brothers Podcast. I'm Elliot.
This is Aaron.
And we are out.